Make a green-eyed seaglass ring with me as a self-taught silversmith in the Mumbles. So this ring is based off an original song that my friend Kat wrote called Green, and I absolutely love working with green sea glass, so I thought I would take some inspiration from her song and make a green-eyed sea glass ring. So here I am just making the eye shape for the ring, and I'm using 1.5mm wire and just bending that with my fingers until I get the shape that I want. And the top piece is slightly longer than the bottom piece, just to give it that curved shape. And I then solder it together with some hard solder once I've got my desired shape and filed off the edges to make them flush. I love soldering videos, they are so satisfying. And then once that's done, I start making the bezel. So I'm using a piece of green sea glass that I've collected from the Gower Peninsula, and once I've shaped the bezel wire around the sea glass, I then solder it together until it looks like this. I then go into my scrap silver jar, which is bits of silver that have come off other projects I've made, and find a piece that will fit the bezel back and solder that one together, and then snip off the excess, ready to be filed. I then file it until it's flush, ready to be set in the rest of the ring. So here I am just seeing where I want it to fit best in that eye shape, and the space I decided on kind of makes it look like it's rolling its eyes at you, which I think is really cool. So I'm just using some 1mm wire to make the inner eye circle here, and I don't actually have a mandrel that fits this size, so a bit of scrappy silversmithing, and I'm using a fine liner just to hammer that out. So once it's a perfect circle, I can solder it into the eye, and then I solder in that bezel that I made earlier with some medium solder just to make sure it's nice and strong. I then pick another bit of scrap silver out of my jar just to make the kind of eyelash effect, and snip that into even sized pieces, heat those, and once they've melted they kind of ball up into perfect little circles, which I can hammer flat, and that's what they end up looking like. So I then solder those on, and once I'm happy with it, because it has to fit around a finger, I hammer it on my mandrel, and totally forget to film me doing the shank for this ring. I'm really sorry, but it's a double band that I then solder onto that eye and pop into my slow cooker to pickle. That basically removes all the fire stain, and once that's done, I use a little bit of iron wool to get that film off and double check it for any bits that need filing or sanding. And then I push the bit of green sea glass in, and I wish setting it was this quick in real life, but once it's done, I then can pop it into my tumbler to polish away. After about 40 minutes, it's nice and shiny, and then I decided I want to patina it, which basically just oxidizes part of the silver where you brush it on. I should have done this earlier, but then I file away the excess with some of that wire wool, give her a polish, and here we are. So I hope you have enjoyed this Make a Ring with me based on my friend's original song. I'll see you soon.